Hey, thanks for joining me again. It's John Anderson, that franchise guy. And today in my franchise conversation, I have Rachel Poulin from the Cleaning Authority franchise. And she's going to tell us all about the opportunity within the residential cleaning space and the Cleaning Authority franchise itself, of course. So welcome and thanks for joining me, Rachel.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. It's a pleasure always to talk about my favorite brand, the Cleaning Authority. Just a little bit of background about me. I actually was in English and journalism, and I thought I was going to be the next Connie Chung. And when that didn't work out, I focused on fitness, my love and my passion. I bought my first franchise back in 2003, was a sports supplement type franchise. Love the franchise model. Quickly got into another one with Liberty Tax Service. Had that for about 2 to 3 years. Ran a successful business there. And I found out that my true love was service industry, right? And so after Liberty and being an owner, I wanted to focus on the tax industry. And so John Hewitt, owner and founder of Liberty Tax Service, had brought me into franchise development. He said, you ran a great office and I want to have you on my team. So I did franchise development for Liberty for about 10 years. Did that very successfully, and then really got into, after that stint in franchise development, I got into franchise financing with Guidant Financial, and learned a lot about financing, and just feel like ownership and really franchise development and the financing came together. But my true love and passion is definitely development. So I'm back at the Cleaning Authority representing this awesome brand, and I would have it no other way.
That's great. Actually, I learned a couple things about you there. I don't know that I knew all of that in terms of the different hats you've worn and having run your own franchise locations. It brings a whole different perspective to a conversation with franchise candidates when you're talking to them, when you can reference, you've been there, done that, you've been in their shoes, you know what they're going through, what they're thinking, their fears, I
Exactly.
think that yeah, it helps a lot. So let's talk more about the Cleaning Authority. That's why we're here today, right? So why residential cleaning in 2021? For those of you who might be watching this 3 years from now, we're in March 1st, 2021. Been an interesting year, but why residential cleaning? Why the Cleaning Authority? How does the Cleaning Authority stand out? Let's talk about some of those things.
Yeah, so residential cleaning is, as you know, it's not the sexiest business out there. No one ever dreams to be an owner of a cleaning service, right? But what I can say about this business is it's proven, it's stable, and we're innovative. We've been in business for over 20 years. We're known as a legacy brand, so we're not an emerging concept where they're, testing out systems. I mean, we have a solid system, and our technology is constantly evolving. You're right in that, this last year with COVID, it's been a tough road for any industry. I want to say, essentially in those first 3 months, we were down about 25% system wide. And now we bounced back. We're at our original base, but now there's a new influx of business people that have cleaning and sanitation at the forefront of their mind, and they want to be healthy and safe. And so we have all this new business. And so I think the hardest part right now is, do we have the employees to cover all the new business that we have, right? And that's a good problem to have. But this is a $46 billion industry. It's still very fragmented today. It's sort of like the hamburger chains out there, right? There's always going to be one, and there's always going to be residential cleaning businesses. But I'm happy and proud to say that we're in the top three. We're number two and moving on the first position very fast. And COVID, we are an essential business, so we haven't had to shut our doors. It's just been it's been a learning curve, certainly, but we have been stable in COVID. And so I would say to prospective candidates that are looking at any business, look for stability first, longevity, and certainly the technology. And one of the biggest differentiators at the Cleaning Authority is that we're doing all the marketing for you. Being a prior business owner, I would wake up every day and it was such a headache. Where am I going to market today? Or, what am I going to do to bring in that customer? Well, the good news at the Cleaning Authority, we do that for you so that we're taking it off your plate. You can focus on operations, building an employee base while your customer base grows. You can wake up tomorrow and have, 2 to 3 new appointments on your calendar. And all you have to do is a small sales conversion, make them comfortable enough to sign up,
I
for that
love that.
business.
No, I think that, and you touched on a couple things there. And first off, I want to go back to the growth piece that, yeah, there are, there's what, two, three, four probably major brands. There's another two or three, four lower tier franchises, but um, the top ones that I'm aware of have stopped growing a long time ago, whereas you guys are continuing to grow your footprint. 20 years, but hundreds of locations open, and so I love that you're all grown up. You know what you're going to be when you're going to grow up. You don't have to figure it out. You're not still trying to figure it out, but at the same time, just in the time I've worked with the Cleaning Authority, there have been innovations you've talked about. And I think a big leap forward is the marketing and technology pieces. And to speak exactly to what you were just talking about, whereas the franchise owner can focus on that sales and service. That's all they have to do, knowing that you guys are working in the background to keep them ahead of the industry, and to keep the technology fresh and the marketing and the leads coming in. So
Exactly.
what is the franchisee, and I know this is going to evolve, what they're going to do in month one is not the same in year five, but how much of that sales and service is the franchisee doing hands-on in the customer's house, say day one and then down the road?
Yeah, so it is different, like you said, for a new franchisee versus somebody that's seasoned, been in the business. We actually have, as you grow in clientele, you have more employees that are going to take over certain responsibilities. But when it comes to initial boots on the ground, grassroots up, you're learning the business, you're going to do the training, you're learning our proprietary systems so that you can come back and really train your employees. So a portion of that initially is on the franchise owner. They're going to go in and they're going to do not only the training, but they're going to do the in-home estimate appointments. So they're going to go in and meet the clients at their house. They have a quote based on our customer call center is probably giving them a quote based on their market and the size, square footage of the house and the rooms included. But that's your, as a franchise owner, it's your time to build relationships, getting in that house, showing them how you differentiate yourself. Your personality is shining. It's really only 10 to 15 minutes in the home, meeting and greeting and making specific notes. So there is a small sales conversion piece, but as you grow as an owner, that can be taken over by an employee that you train eventually. So the more seasoned, are some of our seasoned franchise owners really only come in twice a week to coach the managers on those
Mm.
pieces, right? Making sure that the quality is there. So this model does lend to semi-passive ownership, but initially it is boots on the ground. So that sales piece is included in that initially.
Fantastic. And I think that all of that is really important for somebody because I mean, if you're going to get into a business, in my mind anyway, and I certainly coach people on this, I don't want to buy a job. And I have helped people that do, there's a specific niche for that person. But, if I want to build a business, I want to build wealth and equity in my future, this is really a retirement plan. And it's something that people never even think about. And I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on the finance part because I know we have to be careful with that. But I do know that it is scalable. I know that the ROI, if people were to pursue the Cleaning Authority as a potential franchise investment, they will discover numbers they'd be happy with. Um, it- but it is something that you want to translate into not working 80 hours a week too. And so the
Right.
fact that you can build that and then pull back a little bit to more of a CEO type of operation, I
Yeah.
think is huge. And you don't see
Yeah.
that in every business.
This is an opportunity to build a big business for yourself. And we look at it as more like a commodity business. This is truly people just are buying back their time.
Mm.
When I was younger, if you had a cleaning service, you were rich, right? But these days, people look at it as a service and need, a demand to get back their time on their calendar. Time is precious, right? So certainly it is big business. We think it's a luxury business, but it's the opportunity to build something bigger for the future. And when you set a retirement plan, yes, yes, it
Yeah.
is. It is initially you're going to be working hard to grow and build that clientele, but you can scale it back, quite a bit, which is great. And we have
Yeah.
some owners that travel every month and come back, and they're, back in the office for a few days, and they pop back in and they just check on things. And
Yeah.
so I think it's everybody's dream to have a big business, and that semi-passive, close to
Mhm.
retirement business.
That's awesome.
What
It
I can talk about the numbers a little bit,
Okay, yeah, anything that
Yeah,
you're comfortable adding, absolutely.
yeah. So, this is a very high revenue, very, stable business. And so I can quote anything in our FDD. Our item 19 is stating 1.1 million in gross revenue for our average franchisee. Our top third are doing 1.9 million in gross revenue, and we have some franchisees in one territory doing over 3 million in gross revenue. So high return.
Yeah, that's awesome numbers, and just uh, a significant example, I think, especially when you talk about an average franchise owner being over $1 million and in revenue, gross revenue, of course. But it doesn't take a whole lot of napkin math even to figure out what your costs are in a cleaning business and what you can take home. And I know through the discovery process, candidates do get to figure that out. So um, what's always interesting too is a lot of franchises will put out there the top line number, like, oh, our number one guy does this, or our top 10%. But when you can take an average of the whole system and you're north of $1 million, that's substantial.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
for sure.
Very proud of
Um,
that.
do you think you have I mean, is there an ideal candidate? If you look at your more successful franchisees in terms of background, where they come from, people you're looking for, is there anything like that that's missing?
Yes, definitely. So I'm finding our ideal candidate is somebody that's transitioning out of corporate America, right? They want to
Mhm.
fire their boss. This is Monday through Friday, so it's an easy transition for them. They're not having to do nights or weekends. So someone with a business mind that can have an appreciation of marketing and technology and has been exposed to that and is looking at marketing as more as an investment versus a cost, right? So
Sure.
someone that is looking for the big picture. So, I wouldn't say that our ideal candidate is somebody that is a small residential cleaning company looking to convert into this, right? Because often the capital is not there, or the big kind of business mind that we're looking for. So that's why our relationships with, you, John, are extremely important, because you know that about us, right? And you can identify
Absolutely.
that. So we do a lot of focus on our relationships with the consultants for that very reason.
To finish up, I like to ask, is there so people who are watching this, many of them anyway, will be people who are considering exactly what you're talking about, leaving a career to start a business, looking for a good investment in franchising. With all of the different opportunities out there, whether it's hair salon, sandwiches, burgers, pizza, sign companies, whatever, why the cleaning authority?
Yeah, I go back to that stable business. And as I said earlier, this is not a sexy industry. Nobody ever dreams of, being a business owner of a residential cleaning company. But having past experience really in franchising and been a franchise owner before, I had a sexy, non-performing business, and then I had a not so sexy performing business. And I tell all my candidates, I said, you can have all the sexy things on the side when you have a performing business. And that's why the cleaning authority, it's constant, it's in demand, and it's here to stay. Only takes a small percentage of the market really to be successful in this business. It's scalable. Our technology allows it an easy day for our franchise owners, Monday through Friday again. So
Yeah.
that's why the cleaning authority, and not to mention the quality of people we have in our system. Over 60% of our franchisees have their MBA or held some of
Uh,
those corporate level positions. Our executive team has over 150 years combined experience at the cleaning authority, not just in franchising, but at the cleaning authority. And 90% of them own their own TCA franchise. So they're not only invested at a corporate level, they're vested, passionate, caring owners as well. And you'll see that in our support structure. There's always somebody to lean on, to talk to. If your business is not performing the way you want it to, we certainly dig into that with you, and we support each other. It's just a big family, really.
I love it. No, and there's a lot of other stuff we could certainly get into. And if you're out there and you're considering a franchise investment, and a career change, I strongly encourage you, reach out to me at thatfranchiseguy.com, or any other way, you know how to get a hold of me. And let's talk to Rachel about the Cleaning Authority, because it is truly, I hate to say one of the hidden gems, but it really is a unique opportunity within franchising, because it just doesn't jump out off the pages as you talk about. It's not the
Right.
sexy, it's the profitable. So
Right.
yeah, thanks so much for joining me today. It really was a pleasure, and I know we're providing some valuable information. So
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, John. I really appreciate the time.
yeah.
Thank you.